Let's keep it moving here. Later in 1991, Tugboat turns heel, changes his name to Typhoon, and joins Jimmy Hart's group. He and Earthquake are going to form a team called the Natural Disasters. Believe it or not, this is Dave Silva's favorite tag team. I can't believe that's the thing. I don't know if because, he just likes big fat guys. I guess that explains why he likes me. I don't know, but chat me up. The Natural Disasters. What's the thinking here?
Well, they are. It's goddamn typhoon and dadgum earthquake. They're natural disasters. And during the time, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Jimmy Hart was referencing earthquake as a natural disaster. And so the two just kind of came together, and now you've got an earthquake and you have a typhoon, then you've got a tag team of the natural disasters. And it made sense. And they were one hell of a tag team. Good Lord. How are you going to compete with those two big bastards? And gave new life to Tugboat, because Tugboat is Tugboat.
Let's remind everybody they do have quite the success here. They immediately start a feud with the tag team champions, the Legion of Doom. They're wrestling each other for the titles at the 92 Royal Rumble. Natural Disasters get the win by count out. So Legion of Doom keeps the tag titles. And Meltzer would say this was actually the best match I've seen these four have, but that says more about how bad the other matches have been. But it was okay until the cheap finish where everyone was brawling on the floor and Typhoon got in to beat the count. With all the time they spent booking the rest of the card, they must have spent the time it takes between bites of a roast beef sandwich to come up with the finish here. And he gives it a 1.5 stars. But listen, this is rarefied air here. I mean, there was a term in the business called the Road Warrior Pop. And if you're working with the Road Warriors, you're in a prime time spot, and they're the tag champs, and it's on pay-per-view. Quite the push for the Natural Disasters. We've heard over the years that Vince was a body guy, but here, maybe this isn't the type of body he's normally looking for, but he's got the size and spades with the Natural Disasters. And, I don't know. It probably made sense to put him in there with the Legion of Doom. What'd you think of their Rumble match? Clearly a count out is not exactly what we'd all be looking for, but you got a lot of beef in there.
You definitely do. And to that point, I think that the body guy thing, people see it one way, and then there's the reality of it. You're looking at size. You're looking at someone larger than life that has a presence. They have a unique look and they have a presence. And both Earthquake and Tenta had a presence. When they walked through an airport, people looked. People would look at them and go, "Holy shit, man. Those are two big bastards. What the hell do they do?" Then you start getting into it, and more comes out of it. So they were someone that definitely they were able to go. Both guys could go. Tenta especially still at this point. But as far as, the Road Warriors, natural opponents. And I dare say that the Natural Disasters probably got more out of the Road Warriors for that big man collision type match than anybody did.
We don't see a rematch at WrestleMania 8, which I think probably at Royal Rumble, I would have just assumed, they're going to do that again. WrestleMania 8 winds up being Money Inc. and Natural Disasters. But before we get there, we should say the Natural Disasters actually turn face when Jimmy Hart turns on them and joins forces with Money Inc. Money Inc., of course, had just won the tag titles from Legion of Doom. With a name like Natural Disasters and this feud with Hulk Hogan in the not so distant memory, what's the thinking in turning these guys babyface?
Two big bastards that the audience believed in. Regardless of whether you liked them or not, you believed them. So they were out there, and it was a situation where you could just flip the opponents, and whoever they were wrestling, if they were wrestling heels, then they would be the baby faces.
Let's talk about WrestleMania 8. They do get their tag title shot again, this time against Money Inc. But Meltzer did not like it. Natural Disasters get a win by count out the same way. You know, they've won a lot of these matches. Meltzer was like, oh, this was bad. Disasters aren't over his faces one lick and worked so badly that the crowd didn't have a lick of interest in the match. Typhoon was far worse than usual, which is a mouthful. Typhoon splashed IRS and Jimmy Hart pulled him out of the ring and they walked back to the dressing room for the count out loss. The fans in the building, who no matter how many times they see this, have always popped for the count out, thinking the titles change hands, didn't care one iota. Horrible match and an even worse finish, -2 stars. Less than awesome. What'd you think of the WrestleMania 8 match?
I wasn't there at the time, and just as Pat Patterson would say, "Nyeh." Actually, it's more like what Eugene would say, "Nyeh." Didn't like it. Didn't care.
This is the first time we should mention, in Earthquake's run so far, you know, going back to 89, that he's a babyface. Do you think Tenta had a preference, babyface or heel?
I think most talent that have ever worked heel enjoy being a heel.
Of course.
It's just so much more fun. It's easier, but it's also a lot more fun.
In July of 92, right before you come back, at a house show in Worcester, the Natural Disasters defeat Money Inc. for the tag titles. This does beg the question, if they're going to win the titles anyway, why not do it on pay-per-view? Do you have any, I know you weren't there, but do you have any insights why the tag title switch here would have happened at a house show?
Every once in a while you do that to let people know that it could happen in your town too. So the next time that the championship is up for grabs and you're saying, well, no, it's going to happen at a pay-per-view, I'll just wait. No, by God, it could happen in Huntsville, Alabama.
Probably not though. At SummerSlam, the Natural Disasters.
You wait.
All right, listen up, Huntsville. When house shows are a thing again, if a title change happens here in Huntsville, it's just because I challenged Bruce. So # you're welcome. At SummerSlam,
how do you know we're not going to do it in, say, Kansas City?
Well, because I said it wouldn't happen in Huntsville, and you got pissed and said, "You wait!" Like, despite I'm going to swap the IC title there and stick it up Conrad's ass. How about now, motherfucker?
We'll switch the damn Universal Championship there.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You're welcome, Huntsville. That's never happened before here. At SummerSlam, the Natural Disasters successfully defend the titles against the Beverly Brothers. Of course, the Beverly Brothers are the former Destruction Crew, easy for me to say, in the AWA. I was never a Beverly Brothers guy. I couldn't get into it. You know, I could appreciate they had a cool look and blah, 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 but it was just a miss for me. What can you tell us about their match at SummerSlam or anything at all about the Beverly Brothers you'd like to share?
Oh my God. Great guys. Really great guys. From Minnesota, and Wayne Bloom was one of the strongest humans on the face of the earth. Looks like a tall, skinny guy.
Right.
But incredible strength. But both of those guys were just so easy to get along with, both tremendous workers in their own right, but it just kind of, they clicked as a team. They were good. Just the audience never really cared for whatever reason. If you were to get, this is another example of, if you were to be able to get Bloom and Enos, the real human being, they were funny, they were entertaining, and legit athletes. I don't know. You couldn't get them on camera. And the audience didn't care.
Well, the natural disasters hold the titles until October 13th. Then they lose them back to Money Inc. in Regina. Well, that takes us to the 92 Survivor Series. Natural Disasters and the Nasty Boys are going to beat Money Inc. and the Beverly Brothers in an elimination tag match. Meltzer would say the work itself was solid from start to finish, except in spots where the Nasty Boys didn't seem to be using babyface moves, and Money Inc. had to walk themselves through the move. Earthquake pinned Bo Beverly with the splash in 9 minutes and 25 seconds, which gave the faces a 4-on-2 advantage. Psychologically, that's pretty hard to get a lot of the crowd reaction when the heels are getting pounded while being outmanned. IRS would pin Typhoon for a second fall after DiBiase trips him, and the third fall lasted 5 seconds, with Sags pinning IRS with a schoolboy. He gives it a 1.25 stars. And then, I can't believe this happened this way, but the night after the Royal Rumble 1993 show, Earthquake loses to the Bam Bam Bigelow character here by countout, and he leaves the company. And this just seems like, I don't know, that he was with you guys a lot longer. Debuting on TV in late 89, I think November 89 is the first time I saw him. And now here in January of 93, he's out of here. I mean, he's not here very long, but he made the most of it, did he not?
Yes, he did. And at this point in his career, I think Tenta was looking for something else. He wanted to go back to Japan and was kind of tired of being on the road. I think he was living at the time, in Seattle or something like that. So the trips were hard. My God, if you're going to live somewhere and you travel the country the way that we do, I wouldn't pick Seattle as a place to live or any place on the West Coast, but to each his own. And the travel was tough for John at the time.
Well, yeah. And he's a big boy, so if you're making cross country trips, twice a week like that with lots of connections and you're a big boy, it's probably a challenge. Not exactly comfortable. He